Picture an animal weighing 190 tons, walking on four massive pillar-like legs, with a neck long enough to graze from the tops of forest canopies. Compare that to this build, a bipedal predator, highly agile with forward-facing eyes and massive jaws engineered to tear through flesh and bone. If you had to guess how these two animals are related, you'd probably place them on opposite sides of the animal kingdom. But paleontologists classify both of them as close evolutionary cousins, placing them within the exact same taxonomic group. To make it even stranger, look at the Triceratops. Despite living at the exact same time as the T-Rex and carrying an equally monstrous prehistoric profile, this animal is strictly excluded from their family group. To figure out who is actually related to who in the ancient world, we have to ignore deceiving outward appearances, like heavy armor, or sharp teeth, or sheer physical scale. Instead, we have to look directly at the pelvic bones. In the late 19th century, a British paleontologist named Harry Seeley realized he could organize the dinosaur kingdom by looking at the hips. He proposed dividing all known dinosaurs into two primary orders. Look at this animated dinosaur pelvis representing the bird-hipped ornithischians. Notice the pubis bone pointing distinctly backward. Now watch it shift. When the pubis bone snaps forward into a triangular shape, we see the second major order, the lizard-hipped saurischians. That specific forward-pointing pelvic geometry is the baseline biological hardware shared by both the giant long-necked sauropods and the two-legged predatory theropods. This shared hip structure tells us that these two incredibly distinct creatures started from the exact same evolutionary starting line, only to diverge into completely opposite physical forms over millions of years. The sauropodomorphs dropped down to all four legs and optimized for sheer biological mass. They developed immense bodies and elongated necks to monopolize the high foliage of the Jurassic canopies. To carry that extreme weight, they developed an invisible internal adaptation. They formed complex hollow air pockets inside their vertebrae, significantly reducing the density of their spines so they wouldn't collapse under their own bulk. The theropod lineage took the opposite route, remaining strictly upright on two legs and shedding heavy bulk to optimize for speed and lethality. They refined those predatory traits by developing fully hollow bones, sharp curved claws, and eventually highly specialized insulating structures. You can see the distinct impressions of feathers radiating right off the bone in this fossil. One branch pushed the absolute limits of physical gravity, while the other engineered a lightweight, lethal frame. But beneath the scales and feathers, their shared pelvic geometry proves they are branches of the very same family tree. About 65 million years ago, a massive asteroid impact triggered extreme global volcanism and sudden, severe climate shifts. The sky darkened and the food chain collapsed. In this choked, lightless environment, the massive scale of the giant dinosaurs became a fatal flaw. They required huge amounts of food and oxygen to maintain their body heat and fuel their heavy muscles, resources the planet could no longer provide. The ensuing extinction event created a striking taxonomic irony. Every single species of the bird-hipped ornithischian dinosaurs was completely wiped off the map. The only dinosaurs to survive the apocalypse belonged to a tiny, highly specific subbranch of the lizard-hipped saurischian family. They were small, feathered, highly adaptable theropods. Their compact size and low caloric needs allow them to scavenge and shelter in the ash, while the massive giants starved to death. Those surviving feathered theropods never went extinct. Today, we simply call them modern birds. They are arguably one of the most successful classes of animals on the planet, with over 10,000 distinct species of avian dinosaurs thriving on Earth today. When we ignore the superficial skin and scales to examine the biological hardware underneath, we get a completely different map of the natural world. Look at this evolutionary family tree. Because of that shared pelvic bone, the common pigeon scavenging on a city street sits on a direct, unbroken line with an 80-ton long-necked sauropod. Meanwhile, the Triceratops is stranded on an entirely separate dead-end branch.